Probably.
Hello, everybody. This is Doris Renee and
Angela Nari.
And we're here to do another video for you. We've had so much fun recording that now every time my sister comes by the house, I expect her to be in full makeup so that she can do a video with me.
Well, that's not a problem.
I know, right? It was me this time. Actually, yeah, so she showed up and I wasn't ready, so I had to go do all of this.
You had to go zhuzh.
I did.
We balanced well your hat with my outfit and your
I'm
black.
glad that works out for you. All right, so here's the thing. Before I get started in this week's video, I want to send a shout out. I had to write it down. I'm getting to the point now. How crazy is this? That people love our videos, and I want to give some shouts out before we get started. So I want to say shout out, thank you girl, to Miss Jana of Naturally Glam. She is always showing love on the videos. She leaves comments, and the last video we did inspired her to do the same type of video. So kudos to you. I also want to say a shout out to Monet of Curls and Mo. She is phenomenal. She's a blogger and a vlogger, and now she's getting into the planning community. She makes planners, and they're really cute. Like, they have all these doodads and
Like bound.
yes, and like she has all these pretty accessories that come with it. Like, I guess there's like a whole thing out there. For me, I just need some pages with some dates and I'm good. But she's doing her thing, and she gave us a shout out, so I wanted to say thank you to Monet. I also want to thank BP Warren 128 and TLA Born. She always shouts us out on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
And on Twitter. So thank you all for the love, and please keep it coming, because you don't know, there are days when I'm like, this is fun, but I don't have time to do this, and I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again. And then I'll run across a comment that somebody's left, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Makes it all work.
Yeah, it does. So this week, I've got something, it's part, you know, my theme has been sort of like life affirming videos, things that make you think, experiences to share about what I've learned. And this week is that, except I put like a funny spin on it too, because it is what it is. Sometimes life is serious and sometimes it's not. So this week's video is 5 essential life skills you need to know. Okay?
Okay.
So I have 5 written down here. Angela hasn't heard them, so we are going to get some candid, very candid feedback. All right? So the number one, okay, wait a minute, I lied. You heard the first one.
But I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
I've been drinking.
Yes. All right, so the first one, I listened to a podcast where Issa Rae, the brilliant person behind Awkward Black Girl and many other projects, she was being interviewed, and one of the things she said towards the end of the interview was that she has learned to be confident in her insecurities.
That's powerful.
It took me like a second. You know, when I listen to podcasts, sometimes I will hear something and I just have to turn it off, literally put it on pause and reflect.
And let it resonate, let it marinate.
And that was one of those, because I get the whole, like, I've been the queen of, I understand my weaknesses. I'm very aware of where my strengths and weaknesses are. But insecurities, that kind of like,
But that's what I'm here for.
I appreciate you. But that kind of sat with me like, ooh. Because we all have them.
Do you feel like you're not connected to your insecurities? Like you don't know what they are?
I do, however, I've not put any time into addressing them. Like, I'm aware of when they pop out, usually after they've popped out. And I'm not aware of how to leverage them. And one of the things that Issa talked about is the fact that because she's confident in her insecurities, they don't hold her back as they would somebody
Right.
who, number one, doesn't know what they are, and number two, doesn't know how to garner that feeling.
Right. Well, I don't have the luxury of not knowing what my insecurities are, because my insecurities are pretty bold. They really show up. And I was just having a conversation with someone, was either earlier today or yesterday, I don't remember, about being in a place where I'm learning to not only just overcome, but really work with them, because I think they are part of what makes me me. They're part of my personality. They're, and, there's this book, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, which I think is amazing.
You had me get that. I haven't read it.
Oh, it's amazing. You should read it. And in the book, he talks about how ego, insecurity, being shy, or being really arrogant, they're all the same thing. They're all working in the same place. So for me, something that's an insecurity, I can flip it, and it could be like one of my strongest assets, because it's there's so much propensity there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I think now that I've had time to actually digest the idea, for me, I'm going to move towards and work towards being aware of my insecurities when I'm in them. That's
Right.
something I've got to start with.
Let's
that.
have examples. What's one of your insecurities that pops to mind?
Oh, that's hard. You want to put that on video?
I will start because I believe in my life being witnessed.
Okay.
My life is a testimony. So for me, like, I have a lot, and I'm aware of them all. But one of my insecurities, I do makeup. I work in makeup every day, and I have always had this feeling of not being good enough. That's sort of like the umbrella, really, is not feeling good enough. And in retail, it can show up where, I'm maybe selling something to somebody that I can't afford to buy, or just feeling insecure, or not being as pretty as someone I'm helping, or all those different types of things. And so, and it can show up in me being dismissive, rude, mean, elitist, snobbish.
Oh, wow.
I've really examined this. And it's funny we're having this video because I've been really examining this recently. I'm really trying to overcome. And so what I'm learning, though, in those moments, since I come from that space, I can move myself into a place of empathy and sort of allow myself to have a new vantage point where I can cater to the things that have caused me insecurity. I can be more present.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So that's where I'm at with it now. I'm learning how to be more present, really being in the now, and not let my insecurities hold me back, but also being aware of what the triggers are and what the story is, right? And why I feel this way. And then I'm able to sort of release myself from it and really be present in the moment.
Okay. Well, I could say this. I know that one of mine is the appearance of being lazy. And I know exactly where it stems from my background, and I won't go into that. But what I will say is that it shows up in my overcompensating a lot. So, if I'm in any situation where there is work to be done, I mean, in my home, in my workplace,
well, I'm curious, where does it come from? Because I didn't know this. I didn't know you had that insecurity.
Really? You don't see how I will work myself to the bone and pass out? And,
well,
I do this thing where, like, and it's funny because Charlie recognizes it, so my husband recognizes it now. He didn't recognize it in the beginning of our relationship. But I'm the type that as soon as my feet hit the floor, I'm gone. Like, I've got things lined up to do, whether it's clean the dishes, wash the clothes, take care of the kids, work extra, work another job, work a project. All of these things happen from this insecurity. And it's so bad that I put my health at risk. And I end up, at some point, it'll hit me throughout the year. And I'm literally mentally exhausted. My husband thinks I'm going to work myself into a heart attack. And he just figured it out recently. And so now he steps in and he's like, he demands that I sit down, or he demands that I take a day off. He will take my electronics away from me, my ability to...
Really?
Yeah, it's that...
It's that bad.
It's that bad. And the place that it comes from is just like how we grew up, and being in an environment where there are a lot of people that were unemployed. And,
I know where it comes from.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is okay to say, because this is my thing. I think it's about connecting, and people can see themselves in our story.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
So because we grew up in this environment where there's, high crime rate, high poverty rate, institutionalized welfare, all of these things, I've done everything in my power to distance myself from that and try to set myself apart. And it manifests itself in the me overdoing it and working myself into exhaustion.
Well, that's I've always seen it as you just overstretching.
I'm glad you cared enough to dig deep and lend me a hand.
I know. Because
It's not your problem.
I've dealt with it in different ways. Like for me, I was very sheltered. I didn't realize a lot of what was happening until after the fact. Like I didn't know I didn't know,
You didn't know we were poor.
I didn't know we were poor. I didn't know we were poor until somebody pointed it out to me in junior high, and I remember.
Woo, child!
And I was like, we're poor? Because if I'm poor and everyone around me is poor, then there's no way to sort of. But all my friends were nerds. We were all really smart. I was in all AP classes, and so things like class and money hadn't come up yet.
And that's exactly where it showed up for me, because I was, in most cases, the only black girl in these all-white environments in my education settings.
That was my situation.
So it was evident from the second grade.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot of classism in our school, and so there it is. Moving on,
right?
Because we can do this all day. All right, so another life skill that I think is essential, and remember I said that there was some really serious things and some, just some trite things. Now here's one: how to walk into a room with confidence. That is, oh my gosh, such a big deal for me. I have spent the time to teach it to my daughter. I've spent the time to teach it to my son. Walking into a room with confidence is kind of so big important for me.
It's everything. It's everything in business. It's everything in dating. It's everything.
Yeah, I think
it's everything.
So there's one. What about? You have one to add?
What do you mean?
Do you have another skill, a life skill, an essential life skill that everyone needs to know?
About confidence?
No, about anything. It could be anything.
No.
Okay, moving on. We'll just comment on mine until something pops in.
Well, I thought we were going bullet point by bullet point, right? And we're at confidence.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about that?
Well, we can. Go ahead. Weigh in. Would you?
Well, no, I just think that it's kind of piggybacking on the whole insecurity thing. For instance, I don't have a problem entering a room with confidence. It's sort of, we all have our things, right?
Right.
Confidence is really not an issue of mine. However, it does show up in the dating realm. And I'm learning to keep my confidence in that area.
Okay.
And the main reason is because I've learned is, and ladies, you don't want to deal with a man who's attracted to you because of your lack of confidence, because that's a mismatch, right?
Oh,
and see, that's the thing for me.
Manifests itself in some really dangerous places.
I actually had to stop dating for a while because I realized that the men that I was attracting weren't really the men that I wanted and the men that I deserved. But I was coming from such an insecure place that, I was getting either men that just didn't match or predators.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want either one of those.
That makes sense.
That's been something I've worked on and I've gotten to a better place with.
Okay. All right, here's another one. And this one is a little, it's not PhD status. But I believe in this. How to deal with customer service people on the phone. And I just had a conversation with my daughter about this morning because she told me that the bank that she banks with has been taking fees out of her account since this summer. And I'm like, okay, you might get me once, but you won't get me twice, and you certainly won't get me multiple months in a row. I check my status every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, listen, dear, you need to give them a call, and here's what you need to do. So essential customer service skills. First off, and it's funny, I had to talk to Mommy about this not too long ago. I said, Mommy, I had sent her to do something that she needed done over the phone, and she wasn't getting satisfaction. I said, okay, well, first off, do you know who you spoke with?
Right.
Do you know who you spoke with? Well, no. Okay, so lesson number 1, always record who you're speaking with. If you don't hear their name, make them repeat their name and you write it down, because you're going to need to use their name multiple times throughout the conversation because it puts them on alert. So that's number 1. Use their name. Number 2.
You're calling them to attention.
Yeah, it is. And that's a retail trick. Something I learned back in my retail days.
Right.
That was number 1. Number 2, be very clear in your expectations. So you need to go into the phone call with any customer service agent, understanding and knowing what you want to get out of the phone call.
Absolutely. I think what's most key is don't forget to deal with this person with respect. I think what has happened in in America, we have a culture of low expectation when it comes to customer service.
Remember that lowered expectations?
No,
oh my gosh, it was like it was when we were growing up. It was something that came on TV, and it was one of the skits. And now I'm gonna have to look it up.
You look it up.
Okay, sorry.
But there's a low expectation, right? And so, you know, we go in not expecting a lot with these situations, and we're bringing our own negative baggage in. And, you know, on the other end of this phone call is a person. And if you, when you bring negativity to someone, they're going to give you negativity.
Right.
When you're really, really nice in a customer service situation, you would be surprised how far you will go. I get things for free. I get amazing customer service. I am really respectful. I'm very, very, very respectful. It's so important not to forget that the person that you're dealing with is somebody's grandma,
Right.
or someone's sister, someone's husband.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're people just like you.
Right.
And if they're answering the phones, they did not write the rules. Don't forget that. They didn't do
true.
whatever you're calling for is not their fault.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Very
I think
true.
those are things to remember.
Right. So
Have
I
some-
think that
have
sums
some
it up.
respect.
Yeah, sums it up. However, make sure you get their name
Yes.
and be clear about what you
Yes.
want going into the phone call. Okay, so there's that. Okay, this one is probably going to be a quickie. How to shake hands. I have practiced my children with that,
so bad at that.
since the really.
I go back and forth. Yes, I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I don't like touching people unless I have to, because I do makeup for a living, and you know, I don't want to touch your hand.
You touch them for a living.
Touching people's hands are nasty. So like I always give a lip handshake because I don't want to touch you. But then I do it and then I regret it because people don't respect you when you don't give them. You have to give a strong handshake.
Yes.
I know that.
Okay.
But I don't always do it because I'm always like, I don't want to touch them. Not anything personal. I don't want to touch their hand. Their hands are sweaty.
Oh my
God,
gosh.
this is disgusting.
Okay, all right.
But
Well, there's that.
I know better.
It is a need. It is an essential life skill.
Because you're it's all about dominance and authority.
I just find it, yes, people take you more seriously. It can kind of command the floor, so to speak, especially with a very dominant man. If you have a handshake with a man that is not what they're expecting, which is some limp, weak, something that they experience with another woman, you are immediately given some respect.
Well, I play that by ear because, you know, I'm not opposed to using my feminine wiles in a business situation.
You know what? Well, I don't play that.
Don't follow my lead.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, we need to start on the same level, and we'll go from there. All right.
You know, that's a whole other discussion because I don't feel like I need to be on someone's level so much as I feel like I need to be me and establish my authority. There's a difference.
Well, I think we really operate in a different.
Well, I operate
You know.
in corporate situations occasionally.
I mean, I'm sure you do.
How dare you? Don't you belittle me. I don't know what she thinks she is.
I mean, you know, we talking negotiate contracts and.
I have had my own business.
I'm positive that you have. I'm just saying that's my reality every day.
Well, I get that, and I do understand that, and I'm just saying, you know, I get that, but I have also noticed, from my own vantage point, there's been this thing that has happened with women in the workplace where women have wanted to assert themselves in such ways that they've lost a lot of their femininity. And I think that difference, that specialness is a tool that can be used, not to self-degrade, but it just is what it is. You know what I mean? And I don't think there's anything wrong. I am of the school that I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Now, you know me, I'm professional first.
Sure.
I'm formal first, but I'm a woman. And so...
Okay.
You're not buying it, but that's okay.
It's fine because I think what works for me works really, really well
Absolutely.
for me. So I go in that way. I mean, look at me in the fedora today. All right, last one that I wrote down as far as an essential life skill. Okay, this is going to sound really silly, especially after I set it up the way I just set it up. But here you go. How to rock hats and scarves on your bad hair day.
Are you kidding?
Listen, this is my life. I am a naturalista, right? So natural hair, you know, the whole night. It is my entire platform. It is my brand.
Okay, that speaks to your audience.
It does. So I have to know how to handle bad hair days. Right now, and I wasn't even going to share this.
You're not having a bad hair day. You're washing your hair.
Well, I'm in the middle of deep conditioning my hair.
That's not a bad hair day.
It's not a bad hair day, but I'm saying that the skill is needed. I needed to be able to do this or go rock a turban. The only reason I didn't do a turban is because I have so many other videos.
I'll say that I don't have that skill. I don't like hats. Okay. I have a hat that I wear in the summertime at the beach.
Okay.
And that's it.
Oh, I have so many of those. I have one of those.
Yeah.
But I'm a hat girl. I mean, I can already
wear scarves to sleep.
I know that I'm gonna be one of those old mothers of the church with like a super hat collection.
You're gonna have on both. You're gonna have on a fierce scarf and a hat over it, tilted to the side.
Right. Well, that's what I have for essential life skills. Did you have any you wanted to add?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
So, it's kind of corny, but for me, essential life skills are respect, self-respect, empathy. Empathy is a big one for me. Okay. I really believe in not forgetting that, you know, when you go out into the world, that everyone has a full life, you know, and sort of respecting people's journeys. You know, that's really, really, really big for me. Good. It helps to keep me sort of centered. It helps to pull me out of my head. It helps to pull me out of my own ish when dealing with people. And it's for me, you know, I work in customer service. I work in retail.
So that is essential.
It's really essential for me to sort of always be able to meet people on a certain understanding that we're all here on this planet on a journey.
That makes sense.
You know, it's just a respect thing and a love thing too.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, what about you? What do you think? What are some of your essential life skills that you would like to pass along? We love it if you leave a comment below. Send me a shout out on social media. I'm everywhere as Doris Renee. And I thank you for continuing to watch these videos and for being entertained by them. I am enjoying doing them. I know you can't tell because I don't do them very often, but I am extremely busy with other projects. As a matter of fact, I'm working on putting together some courses. So I've been teaching workshops in my city now for the last 3 years. And so I'm developing those courses for some online projects. So be on the lookout for that. If you have natural hair or you know anyone with natural hair, I'm putting together some phenomenal online courses, some home study courses that you'll be able to take advantage of. You will absolutely grow as a result of taking these courses, and I will absolutely be there every step of the way to help you and guide you. So that is what's happening in my world. You want to say anything?
No. You can always check out my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel that's the information will be in wherever the description is.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, we thank you again for watching. Please comment, please subscribe. We will see you next time. Signing off, Doris Renee and
Angela Nari.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.